of this state, but not many realize that I am, as of this fall, a South Carolinian. I have a house in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and that is my principal residence, my home. And it is as a South Carolinian that I bring you news today, news I'm sure that you have not heard. South Carolina has seceded from the Union and declared itself an independent republic. This amazing event, of course, hasn't been covered by the media because Washington has censored the media and canceled all communication with this new state. So your ignorance is understandable. And besides, I bet you didn't know until this summer that South Ossetia was an independent state. Abkhazia was an independent state, had been for 16 years. You didn't know that they were independent. You didn't know that South Carolina was independent. But it is. And I'm here to share with you a transcript that I have received as the director of the Middlebury Institute. It's called "Good Morning, Mr. President." It is dated 1 week ago. Good morning, Mr. President. This is President Mark Sanford of the Independent Republic of South Carolina. I hope you've seen a copy of the diplomatic instruments we delivered last night to the State Department, and listen, Governor, this whole thing is an outrage. If you think I am a president, Mr. President, as you will see in these instruments, the people of South Carolina elected me to head the new Constitution they approved when they voted so overwhelmingly for separation. Let us treat each other with the respect of equal sovereignty. Equal? What the hell do you mean equal? You're the tin pot head of an illegal and unconstitutional state. I'm the head of the mightiest army in the world, and you ought to be damn thankful that we haven't bound you to the Stone Age. We are grateful for that, Mr. President. Though, of course, you know that well over 2/3 of the military personnel in this state, including all of the 27,000 reserves and National Guard, are supporters of our secession. Our happy citizens of the new South Carolina would not have been a part of any military operation you may have thought of ordering. Besides, we have established a kind of camp for the soldiers who did not want to become citizens, and we will ship them to wherever they wish to go at our expense as soon as possible. They and all the other federal personnel who choose not to take citizenship are being treated very well and will soon be repatriated. And while we're on that subject, Mr. President, I trust you have read in the documents where we have offered extremely handsome sums for the 6 federal military bases you have here. Similarly with federal office buildings. The interstate highways, as you know, are state property. But if you want a return on your original investment in them, we can negotiate that. And as for the national parklands, in the interest of burying the hatchet, we will not seek compensation for your seizure, use, and long-term occupation of our rightful lands. Listen, Sanford, all this is a load of cow poo, as we say in Texas. You can't secede from the United States. It's illegal, and we proved that 150 years ago. No, Mr. President, it's not illegal, not even unconstitutional. Go read the Constitution. It says nothing at all about secession. And all you proved back then 150 years ago is that a government that turns dictatorial can carry out the wishes of a rising corporate plutocracy at the cost of an an incredibly stupid loss of lives. And you're not going to do that again. Yeah, why not? Because, sir, you are discredited and disgraced. Your administration has no moral authority whatsoever. After your illegal wars, your economic meltdown, your lies, your shredding of the Constitution, and your military would not obey any orders from you. After your thoroughly contemptible conduct in office. Besides, before we declared independence, we made sure to get the backing for our cause from the United Nations Human Rights Council and 35 nations which themselves were created by secession, including all of the former Soviet republics, all of the former Yugoslav states, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Belgium, Norway, Switzerland, Sweden, Panama, Taiwan, East Timor, Singapore, Portugal, and Ireland. It would be beyond even your crude unilateralism to go up against that much world opinion, even if you could. Listen, Sanford, we have no intention of letting you get away with this. If I can't use military force, then we'll try something else. How about a boycott? How would you like that? A call to Bentonville, Arkansas. And there goes your Walmarts. Another to Minneapolis, and no more Targets. How are you people going to like that, Mr. Sanford? Go ahead and try it, Mr. President. Won't worry us. Why shouldn't Walmart want to keep on doing business here in another foreign country, like they do around the world? Never mind to them that we're not part of the U.S., except that they could figure the people would have a whole lot more disposable income if they weren't sending off $23 million in taxes to Washington, D.C. every year. That might make them very eager to do business with the independent Republic of South Carolina. You think I'm a Texas knuckle-knocker, boy? I know full well you get a lot more money from us up here than you pay in. You're not getting that anymore. You'll be living in tin roof shacks. Well, that's one thing you're right about, Mr. President. In fact, we get about 25, 35 cents back for every dollar we send to you in taxes. But in the first place, we're no longer a part of that failed economic system you people put together. And that odious $1 trillion big shot bailout. No longer liable for the immense debt you ran up. No longer going to even be using American currency, which won't be worth anything. And we're not going down your dollar-based battle. Second, you forget that most of that money that comes from Washington goes straight to the military establishment here. Doesn't do much for the wider economy, and we don't need to be supporting that military anymore, because we have our own National Guard. So we just don't need that money. And to top it off, we now no longer have to pay all that money to follow all the rules and regulations you put on agriculture and business and industry and schooling and everything else the feds put their noses into. We'll have a whole lot of extra money. All in all, Mr. President, we figure we're going to be a little southern Switzerland, running our own economic affairs for our own benefit, free and transparent banking, small markets with a lot of self-sufficiency, proud and prosperous, and may I say, palmy. You son of a bitch, you won't get away with this, Will. Forgive me for interrupting, Mr. President, but it might be wise for you to take some time to reflect on what I've said. Perhaps get some of the wiser heads in that city together and let them tell you not just how legal and permissible it is what we've achieved, but how right and just and proper, how it may even point the way for other states to follow, and allow your rotten and incompetent federal government to shrink to a reasonable size where democracy and accountability can be restored. In sum, Mr. President, we ask you to remember the flag that was created for the first American Navy at the beginning of the War of Secession in 1775 by an honored son and delegate of the South Carolina colony by the name of Colonel Christopher Gadsden, a copy of which was also given to the South Carolina legislature at that time to fly at the Capitol. It showed a fierce eastern diamond-back rattlesnake, an animal that did not exist in Britain, whose tongue was flickering and hissing with the words beneath. And I would like to impress upon these words upon you, Mr. President. The words beneath, "Don't tread on me."